y'all, it's Pam from 44 Marketplace, and it's Monday night at 8 o'clock, and we are in my favorite place, on my screen porch. Tonight, what we're going to do is we are going to chit-chat about creating a backsplash. If you follow me on 44 Marketplace, you know that I paint a lot of kitchen cabinets. My husband and I do at least one kitchen a month, and now that we've got the new Apollo sprayer, once we come out of this pandemic, we're looking at 2 kitchens a month, maybe 3. And so I just wanted to kind of go over some things with you, but a lot of people can see painting their kitchen cabinets, but they don't know what to do about their backsplash and a couple other things. We've already done countertops. We did my bathroom countertop, and I showed you how to do that. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to go over doing our backsplash. Today, we're going to use a stencil from Royal Design Studios. It is actually for subway tile, but it makes the perfect stencil for backsplash. Now, you're not going to look at me. You are going to watch what I'm doing because we've got my shine down camera. What you're going to do is when you're working on a wall, you want to make sure that that is cleaned, okay? First and foremost, when you're working in a kitchen, if you're working on a wall, you want to make sure that it's clean. So that way you're ready to put your finish up there. When you're working with a stencil on a wall, you can tape it up, but I promise you it's going to move around on you. You need some spray adhesive. Now, I get this stuff from the Dollar Tree. It works great. It's $1. It lasts a while. If you want to, hey, thanks for tuning in from Germany. If you want to get a different kind, get a different kind. This is the kind I use. It's not super sticky because I'm going to show you. You don't want it super sticky because you don't want it to remove the paint that you've already put on for your grout lines. Okay, so I've got us a board here. We're going to spray our little thing. Let it tack up a little. Make sure where you're spraying it, you don't want to make it too big a mess. A lot of y'all don't know what all you can get at the Dollar Tree, I don't think. But you can get lots of things at the Dollar Tree. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn you down, and you are going to get to see what our board that we're going to be working on. All right, so here's our board that we are going to be working on, okay? I'm going to shine our light down a little more so you can see a little bit more of what we got going on. All right, so I'm hoping y'all can, I'm hoping y'all can see what we've got going on. And this is our board. I've already laid down Sawmill Gravy as my grout lines, okay? Now that our piece has tacked up a minute, we're going to lay it down carefully. All right, now if you were putting this on a wall, I would recommend that you take the time to mark off your wall so that you know that you've gotten it exactly where you want it to be. If you'll use watercolor pencils, when you put the water-based paint on it, your lines will disappear. A lot of people don't realize that, but they will disappear. Okay, so now this is a Royal Design Studios stencil for subway tile. It even comes with extra tiles so that if you want to cover one up or whatever, you can. Typically, I do that on part of it, but for tonight's purposes, we are not going to do that. All right, so now we've got our Sawmill Gravy. That is going to give us our lines, okay? Whew, that side didn't stick very well. I'm going to put a little bit more right in here. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so now we've got it stuck down. What we're going to do is I have my color palette that I'm going to be using because what we're going to do is we're going to lay some of this color down. Then we're going to take our sea spray and we're going to add some texture because if I'm creating a brick backsplash, I want to make sure that I have lots of colored texture, okay? If you know me, you know that I like to have a dog food tray to offload my brushes with. So we're going to start with a little bit of chocolate. Now you want this to have a natural flow to it. So you're going to just add a little bit of color randomly across here. You're not going to hit every single brick with every single color, okay? It's just about getting a little bit of color in here because what we're doing is we are trying to add, we're creating our backsplash. Don't worry if you get too big a splash because this is our first coat. And now a lot of people say, do you have to use this many colors? You don't, but this is the way that I do mine. You can do it whatever way you want. So now that is chocolate. That's what we've gotten on there so far. This is a process, so it is going to take a few minutes. So if you want to wait and fast forward, you can do that. All right, this is pine cone. Those of you who follow me know I have a special affinity for pine cone. It is a great color. It adds a little bit of warmth, and you can use any set of colors you want. I'm creating these to have some brown tones in them. And what I'm trying to do is just get a little bit of color on my base. That's all I'm trying to do, because we've still got to add some texture to this, because when I do a backsplash, I really like for it to not be one-dimensional. I want it to be, or two-dimensional. I want it to have some, not only colors and stuff like that, I want it to have some texture. So that's why I'm going to do it this way. Now we're going to use mud puddle. I want a little bit of mud puddle in here, because it'll add just another little bloop. And we're going to put a little bit heavier on these. And this will make more sense shortly, I promise you. Because we've got to have a little bit of a base color. We're going to add one more color. We're going to put some of our Spanish moss. And I like it because it has a little bit of a green undertone, and it just gives a little bit different vibe to what I'm working on. And you'll notice that some of these are going to have big splooshes of color, and some of them are not. And that's okay, because we've yet to add our texture to it. If y'all don't mind, please sprinkle this around, because I think you're going to be pretty pleased with the way this comes out. All right, so now we've laid down our basic colors. Now what we're going to do is we have taken Dixie Belle's Sea Spray, which comes in a pack like this. We've taken a little bit and we've mixed it with Dixie Belle French Linen, okay? It's kind of thickened up on me because I mixed it ahead of time. But if yours is too thick, add a little bit of water to it. What you want is you want it to move around on you. You don't want it to be too thick, but you want it to have a little bit of texture. You can add more paint to it. You can add a little bit of water, whatever works best for you. All right. So once you've gotten it mixed up, we're going to add some texture to our brick, to our backsplash, okay? Because those of you who actually have a brick backsplash, you know that bricks don't have just, that they do have some texture to them, okay? Debbie, if you're watching, this is for you. I told you I'd get this done for you so you can get your backsplash done. Now, you'll notice that we're covering up a little bit of our color, but we're not covering up all of it because we want some of that color coming through. Because we've already laid down our base, but that was just our base color. Now, can you see how we are using this to create texture? You're just pouncing your brush, okay? And this is French linen, which is a gorgeous color. And I know sometimes when I do lessons like this, some people don't want to use this many colors, but I'm telling you, it gives it that natural, organic feel. So y'all, are you tagging your local retailer? Be sure, because they, you know, a lot of them still are not allowed to open, and if they are allowed to open, they're only allowed to open part-time. So we want to make sure and give them all the love we can. So tag your local retailer. Local retailers, if you're watching, tag your shop so everybody knows where you are, okay? How is the weather where y'all are today? It is fabulous here. All right. All right, now we have created our bricks. And we have given texture to our bricks. So y'all are going to have a little bit of noise for a minute. We're going to heat this up and dry it right quick, so that we can get our paint on. If you do it nice and thin, it's real easy to paint over. It dries very quickly. Don't get your stencil too hot. I've done that before. Luckily not with this particular stencil. All right. Now, as this dries, can you see how you're getting good texture in this? It is amazing what it does. Okay. And before we get off here, we're going to lift this up so y'all can see what our backsplash is going to look like. This is real easy to butt up against each other. It is amazing how cute it looks when you get done. All right, now if you don't get enough texture, enough texture, you can go back in and add some more. All right, so now we've got our colors. We're going to add a little bit more of our colors that we started with. We're going to just and we're going to catch it on our texture that we created. Okay? You don't have to go the same direction. You can go whatever direction you want to, because you're trying to create the organic look of a brick. And if y'all follow me, you know that I color wash brick fireplaces all the time. I don't like to actually paint them because then they look painted. I like it more to have a natural vibe to it, and we just change the tone of it. Okay, we're going to put a little bit more. This is chocolate that we're working with right now. Okay? And y'all know I gotta have me some coffee bean. I have a hard time doing very much of anything without a little bit of coffee bean involved. Now, like I say, you can use any combination of colors that you choose. All right, so now we've got our basic on here. Now we're gonna go back in and we're gonna add a little bit of dark highlights with our coffee bean, because I'm telling you, that's what really brings out the details. Butterfly kisses. Think about that when you're doing this. Butterfly kisses. This is one of those things you can get done in a day. How are things where y'all are? Are your states opening back up at all? Georgia's opened up a little bit, but not a lot. Can y'all see how that's looking more and more like a natural stone? And I'll tell you, if you've ever had to buy tile to go on a backsplash, you know how expensive that stuff is. I mean, it's crazy expensive. This stencil, I think, is like $30 or $35. And y'all know how affordable Dixie Belle Paint is. I mean, well, you can see, I won't even use a third of this little bit of paint. And I used a little bit on my... I used a little bit in my sea spray, and that is it. Okay. All right, now, if you want to seal this, typically I wait and seal the entire thing once I've done all of my stencil all the way across. And if you've got too much dark on this, if you want to go back in and lighten it up, all you have to do is, we'll see if the Sawmill Gravy will open. Yes, it will. If you've got too much on there, we're just going to say there's a little bit more dark on here than we want. I really like the way it looks, but if it is, take your base color. Oh, that's my grout color. Well, take that color and add some little light back in there. We're going to put just a little bit of light back in this. It's all about creating texture. You can use sea sponges, you can use whatever you want, but you want to have the intermingling of the colors to give you that natural organic feel, because it's not going to feel like bricks or tile or anything like that without a little bit of movement in it. Oh yeah, that's much better. And see, even when I like it, I still like to go back in and do a little bit more fidgeting and messing around with it, because I like for it to have that organic feel. I don't want it to look like it's been painted. All right. Now, I'm going to take this. All right, so we've gone back in and we've got all of our color in there that we wanted. Got it nice and smoothed out. Now you can sand over this once you take it off or whatever you want. Ooh, I want a little bit of light on that one too. Okay. So once you've done it, you can see you've got everything down here. We didn't use too much sticky adhesive so that we'll be able to lift it up. But what do you think? Are we ready to unveil it? Look at that. And there is our backsplash. You can go all the way around. It has great texture, and you can make these grout lines thicker with an artist brush if you're so inclined. But once you get this coated with some Dixie Belle Gator hide, I usually use about 3 coats, you will have a brick backsplash. And like I say, the Royal Design Studios comes with extra bricks, so if you wanted to blank out a brick or whatever, you can see how great that looks. It is a great way to create a backsplash using just what you have on hand. And if y'all follow me, you know I like to work smarter, not harder. And sometimes there's no reason to go out and pay, you know, what? $12 a square foot or something for tile when you can recreate it. And all it takes, all we used tonight was a few colors of Dixie Belle Paint, and we used some Dixie Belle Sea Spray and a little bit of adhesive with our Royal Design Studios stencil. And that is it. Super easy. You can make all of the colors that you want it to be. If you would rather it have grays in it or grages, you can have whatever colors you want in there. And it's a real simple process, but don't leave out the sea spray. The sea spray is what gives you the texture. And it is just one of those things that adds a little bit of an element, because, I don't know, can you see across there and see that it does actually have texture like brick does? And if you're making a backsplash, that's kind of what you're going for. Now, if you wanted it to look more like subway tile, you can go in and just paint it nice and slick white, and it would look very much like subway tile. Make your back be cotton, and then make these be fluff, and it would be gorgeous. It would be a great way to create your own backsplash to mimic subway tile. All right, if y'all are watching this in replay, I would appreciate you hashtagging replay, sprinkle it around to your friends, and follow me at 44 Marketplace. And we'll do something fun at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Have a great evening. Follow me at 44 Marketplace.